There's you. Gallery, multi-speaker, gallery, speaker. Oh, now I just see you. That's amazing. Hello, and welcome back to Pen and Prosper, a podcast where JT Lawrence and I discuss writing and publishing and hmm,
And what else, Delport? What else do you want to discuss?
oh,
Tell me everything.
writing and publishing and author mindset and everything in between.
Awesome. Hello,
I
everyone.
mean, it's a bonus episode, so it doesn't have to be perfect. This is like a behind the scenes proper, hey?
Behind the
Um,
scenes.
So otherwise, how's your week been, friend? What have you been like up to and doing? And
It's been great. I've been doing a lot of like boring tax work and stuff.
oh, me
Oh yeah,
too. I had
yeah.
Tyler here though helping me because I actually can't do that. I lose my mind.
I'm like okay doing it, but it's like lots of like long hours of like boring work.
And don't you get resentful because you're like, I could be doing revenue generating stuff.
Not really, because I've been meaning to do this for months and months and months, and like I
Um,
finally have time. So I'm actually grateful that I have the time to do it,
okay.
and my accountant
Okay.
is grateful.
Okay. I'm sure. And we haven't spoken about the spicy romance series. It's just like gone off. It's just gone. I was like, well, clearly she
Clearly
hated.
she hates it. No,
I was like, I thought of it the other day and I was like, no, she would have said if she hated it.
no, I would have. I would have. So I think, oh, sorry, my mic. Why is it doing that? I'm not avoiding the topic, Delport. My microphone colored.
Don't laugh. Friend, don't laugh. You're going to be like,
Sorry, can't record today. Tech issues. It's fine. I think it's just because I kicked it. Okay, let me just put it on the table here so I can't kick it. Okay, so Delport, it's still too soon for me to say because I'm halfway through the book, the Anna Slowey.
okay.
So
So,
far, I
so.
think it's good. It's so
Okay.
funny because you have overlapping names like Alistair, Ariana, and Bex are my main characters.
No, no,
It's so weird. And he owns a
you're
hotel.
joking.
So that's
Oh,
weird.
oh no, I'm finished. Bex, who's Bex? I'm trying to think who Bex is.
Bex has just been mentioned, and I'm like, no way.
It's probably not a main character because I don't
No.
remember it all.
No, and it's spelled Bex, whereas mine is
Okay.
like short for
Okay.
Rebecca, Bex. But
Okay.
I thought that
Got
was
you.
so
Got
funny.
you. Oh, that is hilarious.
So yeah, so I'm only halfway, so
Okay.
I can't tell yet, but I think it's good. There will be a lot of work just rewriting the first few chapters because I feel like there's a lot of exposition in the first few chapters. Whereas,
Okay.
like the scene where she goes into the boardroom and she like dominates, I think that'll be an amazing first scene. So I would like start
Okay.
with that, where she
Okay.
starts in the bedroom and blah blah blah, but she can flash back to that, like maybe after the boardroom scene. But I think that boardroom scene is very strong, and it can even be stronger. She can even be even more dominant. And yeah, so I have thoughts. I have thoughts,
Okay.
and I think the best way to feed back to you would actually be voice notes per chapter because it'll take too long for me to go through and say like I don't know about this, da da da. But if I look at the
Yeah.
chapter, I remember what happened, and I say I think this should happen, this, then that would be a
Okay.
good way to do it. That's my main feedback from like the beginning of the book, and then yeah, so I'm about halfway now. No, I'm actually more than halfway. I
Give me the
will,
voice notes
I
and then
will.
I'm gonna go and have a look.
Okay,
And
and then
also
you
it'll
can
be nice because
decide.
it's fresh eyes.
Yeah. And then you can decide. You're like, okay, well, I just don't agree with most of these things. Then you keep the book as it is and you go that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
And that's also fine.
Yeah. Okay.
And when is Teresa getting back with the edit?
So no.
Okay.
I don't know. But that's gonna be a problem if the whole thing's gonna change, isn't
That's what I
it?
was thinking. I'm like, do I even mention this? So
Um,
Teresa will have good feedback.
yes, this is true,
So
actually.
that'll be,
I don't think she's a romance reader either.
no, I think she is. She is.
Oh, is
Because,
she?
yeah, she does a lot of work, or used to. I don't know if she still does, for May Sage. And May Sage is like
Okay.
super hectic
Okay.
romance chick, yeah.
And she is very blunt, Teresa.
Yeah,
I like
I
it.
like that about
She's
her.
very, yeah. So
Yeah,
she'll be like, what is
yeah,
this?
yeah.
What did you do?
What did you do, Delport? Um,
Okay, all
but
right,
just to manage your
perfect.
expectations, I think I mean even if I don't think it's on brand enough for Blair Butler, we can I can still publish it. I'm not saying I won't publish it. I'm just saying I don't at the moment it's not a Blair Butler. It's not in the Blair
Book.
Butler stable. Um,
Okay.
like Blair Butler is a lot of banter, a lot of sex, like pages and pages of graphic sex. And
And then I thought it was so.
no, like
I
so.
knew that was going to happen. I remember we called it. I'm like, oh, it's so spicy. And you're like, oh, cute, Delport. Thank you.
I mean, I think it's great, and I think it'll sell. So I don't mind. I mean, I would like to publish it when we're both happy with it, but I just don't know if it's going to be in that stable.
I mean, yesterday I was supposed to be, like, I'm going to work on my urban fantasy. And I was like, no, let me go and step into
Oh,
those.
really?
I quite enjoy, I find it like very easy. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah.
Like, I just find it's like super easy and
Yeah.
like, I don't know, exciting, if that's the word. Like,
Okay.
different.
Okay. Yeah,
It's different.
I also liked the first two Blair Butler books because it was different and it was quite
Yeah, it's
easy.
like, yes. And
But
it
then
just gives
remember,
you,
you're gonna hit
yeah.
that like book four and you're gonna be like,
It's awful. We're like, oh,
why? I
oh.
should have listened to JT. Why?
Okay, so let's talk about your ad. Well, let's talk about our ads quickly before we get into the
Yes.
proper episode.
Great idea.
Do you want my feedback?
I do. Tell me. Tell me everything.
Okay. So the US, I'm just, I'm really struggling with the US. I still can't get it to
Still.
turn.
Mm.
Yeah, and I've tested, and then when I think something's going to work, then it doesn't work. So the US for me at this point is a bit of a bust. I ended up after loads and loads of testing. I spent $304 to make $179. So I lost $124. It was a minus 41%. All right.
Ouch.
I know, but you know what? Look, I learned a lot in that process, and I do think that I will be able to refine those ads, and I will be able to get them to turn, um, because towards the end they were starting. But what a strategy, as a very wise woman taught me, I was like, how long? Because I've got the 90 days. So I think once you're in the cycle, once the 90 days have run and you've got the revenue coming in to match the expenses, it gets a bit easier to play. But because I've got such a long road starting, I was
Mm.
like, okay, I don't actually want to be putting money into that when I could be putting into something where I know it's going to make me money.
Absolutely.
And then in 3 months, I can go back and do proper testing with a little bit more
Yeah.
money, you know?
Yeah.
So that was my theory.
So hang on,
Okay,
Delport. So what have you done with US? Are you just leaving like
I've
one ad
turned everything
running?
off.
You
No,
turned
I've turned
everything
them
off.
all off.
Okay.
Everything off. Because
All right.
everything was just, none of them were making
Oof.
money. Even
Okay.
that sorcery that had everything right and it had, um, you saw the attribution data,
Mm.
it should have been making rockets. It just
Yeah. Okay. So
wasn't making money.
one thing to keep in mind is, you know, the whole algorithm shift that's happened in the last few weeks. I mean, it's affecting everyone. Ranks are only updating like every 3 days.
Okay.
Like pre-orders are frozen. There's a lot of stuff.
Going on.
Yeah, and authors are
Okay.
not happy because a lot of the changes are beneficial to traditionally published authors and disadvantage us as indie authors.
In what
Unfortunately.
way?
I can't remember what Eve Newton was saying, but I actually don't know, and it's got a name that it's called like A10 or something like that, and you can Google it and see what other people are saying. But it's basically
Okay.
a rollout of changes that Amazon has made, and it's really made it
Hurting
very difficult
indies.
for us in the US. Yeah, and I said in
Okay.
my civil author group too, they're all like, what's happening? Like we don't know what to do yet because it's new. And like Eve Newton says, guys, you've got to strategize and pivot. And I'm like, yeah, but how? Because I don't really know what the changes have been. I don't know what it means.
Okay.
James Blatch, his second last podcast episode was on exactly on this, and I think it's like a quick 20-minute thing, so it's a good way to
Worth watching.
kind
Okay.
of, yeah, like try and find out, try and
Okay. Will you pop that in the
yes, let me write that down.
Yeah, and then at least
Oh,
people can go and have a look at that. Well, then even more so, then I feel I've probably made the right call. Give it 3 months, get
yeah,
some of that revenue. I mean, I could show you my graph. You can't believe how my revenues come up. Obviously, the spend is there, but what I'm saying is let some of that money come back in
yeah,
and then go back to the US because I
yeah.
do feel like, okay, maybe that's what happened then if there was those changes because that ad looked like it was
It did.
like
It
it
did.
was making, and then when I've started and I was like, okay, cool, this is the winning ad. It just tanked. It just didn't bring in. And I was like, no, okay, you can't bleed for too long without
Yeah.
dying. So I thought, okay, switch it off. I can also become very hyper fixated. Like I can be
Yes.
like I almost get into a point of like, but this has to work. So it has to work. It has to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Instead of going, okay, it's not working.
Yeah. Take a step back, exactly like you've
Yeah,
done. Yeah, I think you've made a
yeah.
very good decision there.
That's why I also put prioritized getting a 6 book urban fantasy series in the US.
Yeah.
So did you hear that? Is that I
I
don't know if
didn't
you could hear it.
know.
I need to turn off my book report.
Ka-ching! I love that
I know
sound.
it's my best. Okay, so that was the US. Then Italy. Okay, so on the other side of the spectrum, Italy absolutely loves me. I am a national treasure in Italy, as we
Still,
know.
still.
Um, still, I'm basically Italian now. Um, I mean, yesterday my ROI in Italy was 165.
Yes,
The day
Delport.
before was
Yes.
70, 73, 81, 85. Like it's just really nice.
Right.
It's been from day two
Yeah.
that the lowest I've is 12% and the highest is 388
Brilliant.
return. So
Brilliant.
that's really nice. So Italy has paid for itself, paid for the translations. So there I've spent $206. I've made $422. So that's a
Brilliant.
$216 profit. The average is 105%. And then I think I paid for the translations cost me $185. So I've made $30 after paying back, if that makes
Brilliant.
sense.
And now,
So
now
now
profit
it's
all the
just
way.
money. Yeah,
Brilliant.
that's so cool. So Italy is fantastic.
Yay. Well
Germany.
done.
So we know I couldn't get Germany. Germany hates. I don't know what it was. I mean, I was praying to all my Prussian descendants. No one was listening to me in Germany. I actually had a chat with a friend who is German, Mr. Schroeder. Um, and he had kind of said I could go and chat to his mom because she's German and like just to let her look at the ad and tell me if there's anything flagging because it's like, what could it be? And then, as you know, I discovered I had put the
Yes.
description. So the link was right, it was going to the German
Thank
version, but
God.
on the actual ad, it said
Calm.
www.amazon.com
Yeah.
instead of .de. And Rachel was like, but the link is still fine. So if someone's clicking on it, it should still work. Logically, it shouldn't have made such a difference, but as soon as I changed it, that ad went from minus to 62, 86, 137, 127% ROI in the last 4
No
days.
ways.
I
Amazing.
promise you, yesterday I spent $9 to make $22 in
Amazing.
Germany. But so what I learned, massive, massive lesson,
Yeah.
audit my ads like at least once a week.
Yes.
Sit down, go through the ads that are running and check that I haven't missed
Check.
something or if
Yeah.
something's not working, go
Yeah.
and double check everything.
Definitely. It's such a good practice. And also, I
Yeah.
find that, I mean, I hesitate to say this, but I think that Facebook sometimes like switches on and off stuff without us knowing. Because sometimes I'll go back into an ad and there's like something that's on that I definitely didn't put on. Like
Oh, wow.
just one of
Okay.
those AI things sort
Yes.
of. And I'm like, I definitely did not press that button. But somehow like
Yeah.
when they update, then they're like, oh no, everyone's gonna want this, and then they just switch it on or something. So I do hesitate to say that because I've got no actual proof, but I have definitely gone back and been like, was I like
That's
not
good.
focused
Yeah.
or whatever, but something has changed. So always check on your ads. And also like your winning ads that have been going for months, you think that's a win, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to touch it. No, just go and have a look at it because you don't know what has happened in the
What
background.
it's doing.
Yeah.
I also love the ROI spreadsheets. That as soon as I wake up in the morning, the very first thing I do is I go and check how much I made
Me
yesterday
too.
and and how much I spent, and I put it in there. And I think that daily watching it,
Yes.
even weekends, because
Yeah.
you could walk away for like 48 hours and burn through money, especially if you've increased your ad spend.
Yeah. Or if
So
you've put the wrong link on an ad by accident and then you're spending
yes,
$20 a day sending people to God
yeah.
knows where.
Yes, and if an ad's not working, I think that's key is don't just switch it off. Go and check, like what I did with Germany. I was going to turn that ad off
Oh
because
my
it wasn't
goodness.
working, and I was like, it's not going to work. And then I went in and looked, and I was like, oh my gosh! And it's on that page too. It's the smallest little thing that I'd done
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
It's three little letters, friend, and that was.
Incredible, hey?
And then the other thing was for me, and I know we had this question on YouTube. My ad spend is obviously very, very low.
Mm.
Um, for now, I know we need to get to six figures, and we're not going to get there if I'm spending $10 a day on an ad. But for now, just for this, because we start at the beginning of a month, it's a 90-day wait. So I'm like, okay, let me just get through these 90 days. And then when that nice first big chunk comes in, I can reevaluate again,
Mhm.
re-strategize, stop, step back. Which ads are working? What do I want to add
Yeah.
on to? Yeah.
But you're doing it in the perfect way because you should never start with a high ad spend. Never. This is how you
Okay.
are supposed to do it.
Learn.
Do it patiently. You have a set ad budget that you don't go over. You wait until you see that positive ROI, and only then do you start slowly scaling. So you're doing it the
Okay.
right way.
Now you scale up to $20 per ad, hey?
On translations, up to 20 or 30. On
Okay. And in the US?
US, 100.
Oh wow. Because I read somewhere the other day, and someone was saying they rather have multiple smaller ads than larger ads. But
Mm.
but I think this is very much a your mileage may vary situation.
Yeah, but I
Like
have
for
both,
you, the
remember?
higher. Okay, so do you
I
have lots
have,
of little ones and big ones?
yes. And
Because
so
you can't leave 1 cent on the damn table, can you, JT?
I'm very bad at leaving money on the table.
I know. I even heard it from Mark.
Did you?
He was like, because I said, Mark, do you really think I should do these books it's going to cost me money to print these things for the TikTok shop? Because you so kindly said I could piggyback in it. And I said, this is what I'm thinking. And he said, if you have this like budget constraints and you need to make decisions, he said, if it was me, I would wait. He goes, but you know, Neats, she can't leave money on it.
Never,
I was
never.
like, he clearly knows his wife very well.
So
Anyway,
I
but
have
yes, so how are your ads going?
so I have like 40 or 50 ads running. Okay, it's a crazy
Don't
amount.
know how you. So it's a learning thing. So I can already see how you get to that point. 3 weeks ago, I would have said you were absolutely mad. Now I'm like, okay, I can
Mental.
see you learn and you get, yes, you
Yes.
get better at it.
Yes. And you have to have it. So again, I'm not a Facebook ads expert. This is just how I do it. It works for me. My ROI is not as high as it should be. So rather listen to the experts if you want like proper advice and a great ROI. This is how I do it. It works for me. Okay. So I
Yes.
have like let's say 50, it's probably 50 ads going at the same time. And the reason is I keep on creating new ads and testing them, right? And then I keep the
Okay.
winners. So I always have
Okay.
new ads starting and coming in, and then the older ads, if they get too expensive, I cut the budget slowly on them, and then when they get too expensive, like 27 cents a click, I turn them off altogether. So I always have these new ads coming in. I have my mature ads kind of in the middle that I know are doing well. They're ticking over at like 18 cents or even 22 cents. I'm happy with those. But as soon as those start creeping up, I'll lower the budget and I'll get rid of them. So it's like a system it keeps going, you know. The only problem with
I
that,
think your ROI then is skewed negatively when actually your ROI is much higher than you're giving it credit for because as soon as you test, everything drops, right?
yeah, sure.
If you had to stop all testing today and just let your well-performing ads run as they were for 3 months, I guarantee your ROI would go through the roof.
Well, they would, but without having new ads coming in, my existing ads would fatigue and they would die,
Yes.
and then
Okay.
my sales would fall off a cliff.
Okay.
And then
Gotcha.
also talking about ROI, if you don't include the testing phase money that you're spending, then it's not a true ROI. So, do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So that's why I've included mine. So I'm like, okay, it's fine. But it's fine. Even with Germany being nasty to me for a while, I am now $35 in the black.
Excellent.
Um,
I'm so happy about
but
that.
yeah. And tell me about languages, because now you are speaking all sorts of. Egyptian Swahilinese.
Can you
I don't
imagine?
know how you're keeping track of it.
Really, it gets a bit much, and I haven't even done half the languages I want to do, so you can imagine.
So how
But
many have you done?
I have done. I'm gonna say in order of performance:
Okay.
Germany, Italy, France, Spanish,
Okay.
Dutch, Brazilian. Dutch and
Okay.
Brazilian, I can't. It's not really fair to include them yet because we've only done bad. And the Dutch books are not on Kobo yet. We're only doing that next week. So I can't really say what the ROI on those is going to be yet. But the rest, yeah, that's the order of the rest. Germany is just doing so well still. Italy, the romance in Italy is just doing so well. I'm so happy. This is going to be my best month ever. And that is
Okay.
despite the problems in the US. Um, only 7 million of my page reads this month are going to be English compared to
Okay.
3 in translations or 4.
Okay.
So it's a massive difference. If I was only
Yes.
making 7 million page reads a few months ago, I'd be upset because that would be a big dent in my income.
Yes.
So translations
Yes.
are really saving me at the moment.
Um, are you making more in your translations through your ads than the US?
Sorry,
And
just say that again.
so what I've done, obviously, because the US now the ROI is not there and it's really hard to get those ads to perform. Um, are you still making much more in the US?
Yes.
Do you run most of your ads in the US or is it kind of even split across the territories?
I have a lot of ads running in the US, most of the ads, and
Okay.
then I have all the translations. But they are,
Okay.
yeah, I'd say
So
80%.
say of your 50, yeah, of your
Yeah,
50 ads, how many of those are pushing to the US?
I'd say 30.
Okay. And are you checking your attribution data like every day, like to
Oh
check if
yeah,
stuff's
oh yeah. Every
okay,
single morning,
got you.
like you,
Okay.
it's my first thing. As soon as I sit down, I look
What
at
you do.
sales yesterday. I look at,
Okay.
and I'm now also including my AMS ad spend because that's
Oh
new.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. A lot to do, a lot going on. I must tell you, this whole journey so far has been, when we first started this and then you had like all this like, don't worry, Delport, I've got you, we're gonna do this. And then I was so excited, and then I had this massive
Mm,
dip.
mm.
Like that, when it happened when I like was messaging you practically weeping and everything. But I've
Crashing
got to
out.
tell you,
The kids call
yeah,
it
I was
crashing
crashing out.
out.
Yeah, yeah. What a crash out. Get a load of this girl. I was crashing out hard. And I'm so glad that you kind of did like pull me in and be like, hey, hey. And also, it's nice to where I am now. Like, I look back and I'm like, sure, I've done a lot of learning and a lot of like, I can now comprehend what's going on. And I can just imagine, like, as this year progresses, it's just going to get better,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it is.
Um,
It is. You've got that
so,
ROI going, you've got ads
yeah,
that are working.
so overwhelming for new people. I just want to keep like reiterating to the people that are where I was like
Yes.
2 months ago. Just hang in there.
Yes.
Don't give it up. Don't be like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this too hard.
Yeah,
So I
true.
cannot wait also to see how it works once I have a longer series to
Yeah.
market there.
Yeah. It's going to be
Yeah.
so much more satisfying because you're going to
I
see that
know.
long tail. It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Okay.
I
I
meant to
think
ask
that's
you on your Facebook ads, do you go into the comments and answer comments and stuff? Do you know you can do that?
yes. It's in Italian, friend. I replied to this lady. She was like, "Oh, this looks amazing, but if only there was," and I had to try and really dig. She said if there was only a classic book. And then I was like, I'm assuming she means paperback.
Paperback.
So then I got Lex to give me so sorry, the paperback will be available this weekend. And I replied, and she was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And I was like,
That's great,
national
eh?
treasure at your service.
I replied to
So
a French person the other day and she said chouette. And I'm like, chouette. So I looked it up and it's pronounced, I mean, it's spelled Chouette. So I looked it up and it means owl, like the bird, owl. So I'm like, what does that mean? So I asked Grok, I'm like, when a French person says chouette, what does it
what
mean?
does that
And
mean?
he says, yeah, it means owl. But in France, if you say something is owl, then it means it's great. It's like cool.
Oh, that's so
Because
cool.
owls are like really cool animals, apparently, and people love them. So
Yes.
they're like, that's owl. So that's what
That's
I
going to be
learned.
our new thing. It's
Yeah,
going to be
very
our new
cool.
thing. Every time we
Chouette.
do something, like, oh, so owl. That's so owl of
Yeah.
you, friend.
And it sounds a bit like, in South Africa when they say sweet, sweet brew, it's like Schwet,
Yes, yes.
Schwet.
Shit. Oh, I love it. Okay, and then I think we need to say a huge big thank you. We have a new subscriber.
Thank you
Well,
so
new
much.
paid subscriber. It's so nice to know that it's adding value. Like it's just yeah, I feel like a rock star. I feel like a rock star. So a huge thank you to Monique Thatcher and of course Vicky, who is
And
still
Vicky
here.
Tay,
So
thank you so much.
Vicky
And
Tay,
I met Vicky,
yes,
hey?
yes. How did it go? Was it
Yeah, she's
wonderful?
so lovely. We had such a
Oh,
nice coffee date together, and we walked around the
oh,
Berwick,
lovely.
and it was just so lovely. So lovely.
What does she write?
Cozy
Cozy, I
Mysteries.
think.
Yeah.
Cozy
And she's doing
mystery.
really well. She's doing really, really well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's so nice to meet other authors. Like I must say, it's one
I
of my
know.
favorite things.
Yeah, I
We
love
don't
it.
have a huge network here, obviously, but
Well, I've asked
one
Monique,
day.
she hasn't replied yet, but I asked her if she's, because she lives in England, I asked her if
Okay.
she's planning on going through to the London conference next week,
Okay.
because it'll be awesome to meet
Okay.
her.
Oh, that would be so nice. It would be
Yeah.
amazing. It would
Yeah.
be amazing.
Yeah.
I'll just keep talking to people online and living vicariously through you.
That's fine with me.
I have Rachel here in South Africa, but she's on the other side of the country, so that's
Yeah.
no good to
Yeah.
me.
Oh,
Oh, can we just take a moment to let the people know that there will be Christmas in July?
oh, yes.
And we are so excited about this because there will be hats and there will be wine,
Listen,
and
I didn't
I
agree
think
to
it's going to get
hats.
messy. We're going to be crashing out in the best way.
Oh God. As long as it's not live. Got a new phone.
Oh, did
Nice,
you?
hey? It's the first time I've ever bought myself a new phone. I always buy second hand because I'm always
Oh,
a
wow.
peasant and think that buying second hand is better for the planet. But this time I'm like, no, I'm gonna buy myself a
I'm going to
new.
get a new, I've worked hard and I'm going to get a new phone. That's so
And
cool.
the display quality is amazing and the cameras are amazing, so I'm super happy with it.
Yes, and especially, content. This whole let's human harder is
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
very real. You have to have a good quality phone if you're going to be filming content and stuff, which I know you're going to be doing, right? More
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
You're going to laugh at this, but I was stalking you the other night.
Oh my God.
I was stalking you, and I came across a video on your TikTok
Yeah.
where you were talking um about the billionaire series.
Hmm.
And you were so eloquent, and I watched it twice because I was like, "Oh, it was so nice to see." Like, because you so seldom do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So yes, I think with that fancy new camera, you should tell yourself, right, gonna stick to your like, whether it's a Wednesday waffle or just a weekly waffle or
Yeah. Yeah.
something.
I must get back into that.
We're gonna human heart. We are weaponizing our humanity, friend, in the world of AI,
Oh
in
my
the
God.
age of AI. That's what we're doing. That's how we get through this. Okay, well, shall we dive into our episode today? We are going to be discussing tropes. Am I correct?
Tropes. Yes.
Tropes. This week's episode is a craft episode, which I think is wonderful. It is nice to go back to basics. So, shall we say goodbye? This was lovely catching up, and
It
we
was.
can, yes, get started on our official Friday's episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yay. All right, let's say bye to the people.
Okay. See you on the other side.